still remember when we drove down all those roads we didn't know and didn't have a destination in our mind. So I spent some time trying to rewind those distant memories of my life. I travel miles and miles, but I can't seem to find that feeling that I felt. Warm breeze blowing, summer smell, those Friday nights, standing stars up in the sky. It made me feel so damn alive, but I couldn't tell. It hit me like I'd felt that all the times we spent riding around, didn't know that I'd found the good times. The good times, we were as happy as could be. Now it's just a memory that's faded. Oh, I hate it. When did I start to realize that it all just passed me by, the good times? So how do I get back to those days? Really feel like I need an escape. Everything now feels so fake. Every time I recreate those moments from that town, driving fast across that ground. No, I can't find a trace of that feeling that I felt. Warm breeze blowing, summer smell, those Friday nights, standing stars up in the sky. It made me feel so damn alive, but I couldn't tell. It hit me like I'd felt that all the times we spent riding around, didn't know that I'd found the good times. The good times, we were as happy as could be. Now it's just a memory that's faded. Oh, I hate it. When did I start to realize that it all just passed me by, the good times? The new Adonis, baby, I'm under your skin. Hot as iron, feel the fire when we kiss now. Killed the serpent, now you worship on my sin. Break your back just to have what you miss now. The new Adonis, baby, I'm under your skin. Hot as iron, feel the fire when we kiss now. Killed the serpent, now you worship on my sin. Break your back just to lack what you miss now. I never miss now. I poured a 40 in my chalice and it dripped down. Pentalic marble on my shoulders, see the chip now. Touch it like a Midas, I can malleate your floors up. Before I say what I wanna say, I'm bleeding gold, liquor all over my palisade. Even if you tell me how I shouldn't change, cause you're the reason that I'm stuck in this immortal frame. The new Adonis, baby, I'm under your skin. Hot as iron, feel the fire when we kiss now. Killed the serpent, now you worship on my sin. Break your back just to have what you miss now. The new Adonis, baby, I'm under your skin. Hot as iron, feel the fire when we kiss now. Killed the serpent, now you worship on my sin. Break your back just to lack what you miss now. I rip my ideals off with my skin. Took a brand to the heart, let it curse me. Tried to parry or steal, but it hit. River Styx, take a sip. I can fight. Kill the earth, break the sky, what's your type? Cause it's you at the end of the night. Hold the world on my gaze like a knife. Become a blade once again, death and life. The new Adonis, baby, I'm under your skin. Hot as iron, feel the fire when we kiss now. Killed the serpent, now you worship on my sin. Break your back just to have what you miss now. The new Adonis, baby, I'm under your skin. Hot as iron, feel the fire when we kiss now. Killed the serpent, now you worship on my sin. Break your back just to lack what you miss now. Broken angel, breaking pockets, she's a beauty queen. Got me hooked and probably cooked this love of limousines. At night with glasses, cute and classy from the silver screen. Got a manic, she can't stand it, I've been wasting my youth.
It's not ideal. Shouldn't be peaking. Anyway. I'll turn Medusa down. It's not even coming through on scene. Hold on. I don't know why it does that. It always breaks with Spotify of all things. Everything else works fine. It's only ever Spotify that breaks. Which do I need to change this to? Okay, that one. This is not one of the videos we're watching. It's just I'm trying to figure out which fucking tab. Because I have 2 instances of Opera open, so I didn't know which one. Oh, the tracking should be slightly better now as well. I got a new webcam and it's far better. The last one was 720p 30 FPS. This is, well, it can go to 4K 60, but I have it set as 1440p 60 because I have no need for 4K, especially for a fucking VTuber model. So, I think going forward as well, maybe not tomorrow, but maybe on like Friday on 4 reacts, I'm gonna actually like show my face. I might throw on a mask or something just for some anonymity, but just because, you know, it kind of takes away from a react when your model can't react properly, like it doesn't get the correct facial expressions. So I just feel like it'll make the reacts a bit better. Also, if the audio sounds a bit weird, I got a boom arm, but I got it with the intention of a new desk, so it doesn't fit super well on this one. So my mic is kind of at an angle. So, and as much as I love the Quadcast, it is kind of bad at picking up audio from the sides, which is kind of where I'm leaning. But that should be fixed. The desk is supposed to arrive tomorrow. So, actually, I'll double check on my phone. That's where I get the pings. It's going to be a shorter stream today. It's basically just going to be React slop. Mainly because I need React slop to upload daily, and I have none left. So even though I'm streaming tomorrow as well, I'm going to do 3 today just to have a bit of a backlog. You know what I mean? It doesn't say. It just says it's on the way. Yeah, I got the boom arm on Saturday. I got the webcam today. And I'm supposed to get the desk tomorrow. Let me actually double check. What dimensions did I buy again? I think it was 180 by 80. I'm not showing anything, am I? No, I'm not. Just so I don't accidentally like leak my address or anything. Don't wanna dox myself. Returns and orders. 160 by 80. Oh, because 180 by 80 wasn't in stock in black. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, I measured it out. And if I remember correctly, 160 is in length twice the length of my current desk. So, because the main thing is I wanted a third monitor. Because with editing, I like to have Premiere Pro or Photoshop or whatever I'm using. I'm going to start using Adobe After Effects. I need to learn that as well. But I want to have like Premiere or whatever on my main monitor. I want a script or whatever I need to use on my second, and then on my third, either like OBS or just my background video to keep me from losing my fucking mind, because I really don't like streaming. Or streaming. No, I like streaming. I don't like editing. I like the end product. I don't like the process. Sometimes I do get into like a groove though, and I'll like for the band video. In that last, I want to say 3 hours, it went by really fast because I kind of just got into it. Because I had all the clips, I had all the audio recorded. It was just okay. I have everything now. I just need to sort it. So I think going forward, that's what I'm going to do. I haven't started the Band 2 video yet. I didn't get a chance. I'm free most of tomorrow, but I'm also streaming tomorrow. I say most of tomorrow. I'm free for like 2 hours tomorrow. So I might draft up a script tomorrow. And then I'll actually start it on Thursday. But I also want to the song is even in my playlist. What? You know what? Yeah, just do fucking Walking Dead. My deadbeat friends. Oh yes, I want to turn all the band videos into shorts as well, which admittedly should not take long. Although I did delete all the files from the original band video. Once it uploaded, I just purged it. So I'll have to re-record it. The beauty of a band game though is you can finish the entire game in like an hour, 2 hours. Band 1, you could finish a game in 5 fucking minutes. So the fact that because I made the video, I already kind of know what I'm going to say. I want to make 60-second shorts on those games. There's multiple reasons. One, because I'm really lacking on shorts content at the moment. Two, I can use it as like a plug to the main video. And three, they're going to be a lot faster to put out. So for the Band 1 video, it's going to be, it's the hook I haven't exactly gotten down yet. But get that done, and then at the end of the short, be like, oh, here's the full video if you want to see more in depth. I want to do that for like all the games I play going forward. Maybe not a full length video, of course, but a short. I also wanted, I want to do fitness in my content as well, and I was thinking, oh, how am I going to incorporate that? At the moment, all I've come up with is because I'm going to start like showing my face, so technically speaking, would be like half IRL. My plan is to be like do challenges in games where it's like, oh, every time I die, I need to spin this wheel, and on this wheel, it's like 10 push-ups, 20 sit-ups, whatever, and whenever it lands on, I have to do. And then in a short, I can be like, quick summary of what happened in the time it took me to finish this game. So just say like 10 deaths. I did 20 push-ups, 30 crunches. It took me 2 hours, and there was, something like that, which will be interesting. It'll be a good way to learn how to do shorts. Well, I know how to do shorts, but do shorts well. Won't really work for the band games. But I'm trying to see. I have 2 games in my backlog to play on stream. I have Scrutinized, which I'm going to die a lot in. Those games are fucking hard. And I have like a shitpost game, which is The Night Gym. It's a horror game about a gym at night. I think Charlie played it actually on his like gaming slap channel. But like BL4, am I going to die a lot in BL4? Probably not, but I'll do it anyway. Dying like the Beast, which I completely forgot was a thing, but someone reminded me of it, which comes out 8 days after BL4, so that'll be interesting. I might replay Dying Light on stream, Dying Light and Dying Light 2 before you Dying Light the Beast, because those games are quite good, and it's been a very long time since I played Dying Light 1. And I played Dying Light 2 on launch. I never played DLCs. Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines 2. Am I going to die a lot in that? I'm not sure. And then the Outer Worlds 2. Am I going to die a lot in that? Well, judging off the first game, probably not. No. Maybe 4 or 5 deaths in the whole game. So, I'm also realizing that there's an 8-day difference between those two as well. Huh. And then Grounded 2 is getting its Axel update. I'm also realizing I never opened my multi-chat. I'm just going to click trigger fake message to make sure it's working. Yeah, it's working. Okay, we're good. I'm just looking at games in my library. I need more games. I might do the Sony collection. I might do a video on the Sony collection actually. Already Sony 1. Buy the Colossal Classics collection for $55. What's in it? Don't Escape, Deep Sheep, Crush the Castle. That's interesting. Yeah. I used to play Sons of the Forest. I actually own Sons of the Forest. I don't know why it's... Oh, because I own it on a different service, not Steam. I own it on Epic, if I remember correctly. Oh, the Darkest Dungeon do get a DLC. Curse of the Court. Is it a free update? Or is it DLC? It looks like it's a free update. Oh. Should I do Darkest Dungeon on stream? Actually, I want to 100% that game. But let me see. The only thing is I would like to play it with mods, but I'd have to be very careful. Because unironically, some of the best mods are just porn mods. Well, they're not porn mods, so to speak, but like there's bare titties in it, you know? Let me see. Oh, yeah, there's multiplayer achievements, but no one plays the multiplayer because it's kind of shit. Um, I could ignore those, I guess, and just do everything else. Most of these seem straightforward enough. There's 21 hidden achievements. Okay. I have 61% of the achievements. I'll put Darkest Dungeon on the backlog. That one's a maybe. I could play. I know there's like an overhaul mod that you download as its own separate game, but I can't remember what it's called. It's in my library. Let me find it. Okay, sorry for that. My phone should... Right, it's my sleep clock from set that I set like 6 months ago, and I used to go to sleep at 7 p.m. and wake up at 4 a.m. I don't do that anymore though. um It's I think it's called not Black Mesa, but it's called Black Reliquary. Yes, yes, yes. It's an overhaul mod, but it's downloaded as its own separate game. I don't know why, but it just is. That one I might do on stream. That one might be interesting. It's kind of like how Team Mod Loader is being classed. Although Team Mod Loader makes sense to class it as its own completely separate thing. This really makes sense to class that as its own thing. Is there anything else in my library would be nice on stream? Conquest Dark, but I'd rather that fully come out. I don't think it's going to fully come out for a while. Okay, I have games though. There are games to be played that I have, which is the main thing. That is the, I suppose, biggest problem solved. Okay. I need to run to the bathroom really quick, so I'm just gonna. Sure. I'm gonna let that run. Oh, wait, no, I see the next song in queue. Okay, you get this. I'm gonna run to the bathroom, and I will be back in a minute. I do apologize for that. Hold on. Oh, fuck. Clip my phone off my desk. Okay. We can actually, like, do the stream now.
The year is
Which one do we want?
today. We're taking a dive.
Boys. Which one? I feel like I have to sit in my chair like I'm fucking XQC. Hold on. Let me do the streamer lock in. Wait. Okay. Hold on. So he like okay. Let me get all the big cracky. Wait, is this?
Today we're
I'm
taking a
just double checking that I set it to the right fucking audio. We're going to find out about all the cheeky bastards who have fooled people in their Hello Neighbor speedruns. I'm getting right into it.
Today we're taking a
'Cause you know,
dive
speedrunning, gotta
into
be
how
fast,
some
gotta be-
suspected cheating ended up infecting several Hello Neighbor speedrun
25 seconds. I know Hello Neighbor is
categories
fast.
in what
Is
is
it 25?
possibly the biggest scandal the community has seen to date.
Is it one
Let's
guy that did every? So I know Hello Neighbor, at least one has like 4 or 5 betas or some shit, and they're all separate
Get into
speedrun categories.
So if you're new to the channel, I've made a few videos covering Hello Neighbor speedrunning over the last few
7
years.
seconds.
With the most
Oh.
recent one being uploaded in October 2024, covering how speedrunners now break the game using lag abuse.
Oh, this
Now,
is
shortly
somewhat
after
common
putting out this
in
video,
games.
I started getting comments saying how it was already outdated as there were runs breaking the sub 5
Bro,
minute
who the fuck is willingly subjecting themselves to playing Hello Neighbor in current year? Like, come on.
mark by a runner by the name of
It was
Menzo.
good for like
And this
2
would beat
alphas
the world
or
record
2
time that I
betas, whatever the
showcased in
fuck,
that
and then it
video
was
by
shit.
over 30 seconds.
Fentanyl
Wow,
fiend.
what a crazy feat, I thought. So, of course, I checked out the run, and it looked incredibly impressive. But with several video ideas already in the works for the rest of 2024, I decided to put
on the
covering
back
this
burner.
new speedrunning feat on the back burner for a while
Oh,
until early
rewatched.
2025. Then, in January of 2025, I went back to the Hello Neighbor speedrunning Discord
And he was
to ask about the
kicked.
new world record runs. And
He was
shortly after
banned.
doing so, I was actually reached out to privately by 2 mods and longtime members of the Hello Neighbor speedrunning community
Wait, what
who
did
have
you
been
do?
big helps with my videos in the past. And they suggested that I hold off on covering the new
Oh.
world records until
Oh.
further notice.
Sauce.
As due to how quickly Menzo was taking top spots on various categories on the speedrunning leaderboard,
Oh, for fuck's sake, he took the top spot. And if you're going to cheat, just do it in one category.
his runs were under active
You would probably still
investigation
get
to
caught,
make
but it's a
sure
lot
that
less
they were
likely.
legit.
But if you're just some
So I asked
random
him
guy
to keep
who
me
appears
posted
and gets like
one
the
way or
world record
another,
in
and
every
although I
category, it's like,
already started
ah,
writing up a script
okay.
for the video, I made the decision to postpone the video once again. Now that's all good and all, but aside from someone just taking various world records in the span of a few weeks, what made the Hello Neighbor speedrun moderators suspicious? Maybe
Was
this runner just
spliced.
had a really good gaming chair that made them just that much better at the game.
Is that
Well, it turns out that Menzo didn't exactly even have a clean record leading up to this point.
Oh,
as
that's
he
good.
was actually caught cheating in the past.
That's great.
Multiple times, in fact.
Amazing.
Around 3 years prior to this most recent Hello Neighbor scandal.
So you're telling me the guy with a past of cheating is likely to cheat again? It's almost like people who cheat in games are likely to redo it when they don't get in trouble for it. Like Riley CS. Or actually, from what I know, the vast majority of the air quote AIM community, or whatever the fuck they call themselves.
And before even getting caught again, Menzo even admitted to
Bro,
making
that
an
fucking
alternate
video
account
with the
under
AI
which he
voice
submitted a
call of
spliced
shame on
run
Riley
to
was
the
actually
leaderboard.
just so over the
Now,
top. It was
why
so
on
funny.
earth would the
It was
mods
really
allow a
well made
known
as well, but
cheater to
man,
keep submitting runs, you're probably
that video was
wondering.
great.
Well, apparently, after about 2 years since his initial cheated
I've
runs
heard
were
about the cardboard
caught,
box stacking
due
in
to
this game.
continuous begging to be unbanned, as well as being generally helpful to the mod team, the Hello Neighbor speedrunning mods did ultimately make the decision to unban
So basically, he annoyed them so much that they were like, Jesus Christ, okay, we'll unban you. Just stop DMing us.
Menzo and went as far as even making him a speedrun verifier. How
What?
one could trust a known cheater to verify other speedruns perplexes me a bit. I guess it takes a cheater to know
catch a
one.
cheater,
but
yeah.
anyways, at this point, Menzo
I can
was
vaguely
kept on a
understand, like,
short
the
leash this
mindset.
time, as this unbanning didn't come without some extra conditions. A. Menzo was required to stream all of his future attempts with his whole monitor being visible behind the game to make sure there wasn't any other
But what if Menzo has 2 monitors? Could you not just, like... I'm not too familiar with cheating, but could he not just have all his cheats or whatever the fuck open on a second monitor and they just wouldn't know?
software running in the background that wasn't permitted. B, he had to have a camera focused on his monitor, with the idea of this being that this would make his
Extra
keyboard and
safety.
mouse inputs visible during a run to verify that they were legitimate. And C, he would have to record all of his speedrun attempts.
Well, I guess
that
the
he was
reason why they
looking to
recorded it with a phone is just in case he, like, faked his screen. So if you have a phone, it's, like, extra verify. It's, like, 2FA.
submit at the same time, and was required to provide the raw recording files to ensure that no splicing or other editing was done. So yeah, like I said, Menzo was put on a short leash, so the mods were hoping that this would be enough to ensure no future runs were cheated. But I guess that leash wasn't short enough. And although Menzo did abide by these new requirements for a while,
still found a way. Is he
conveniently,
German?
some of his submitted runs eventually
Tapes,
ended
is he
up
po-
lacking
no, that's
the
not German.
camera pointed at his monitor.
It doesn't
or
sound
a
like it's
raw
slur,
video
so it's
recording.
not German.
So you might be wondering, how did those speedrun submissions get
Oh, danke
verified?
schön.
Well, you see, this doesn't appear to have been a single-person job, as we now welcome player 2
Are you
to
fucking
this
serious?
Tango, Tommy, another member of the
It was
Hello
a two-man
Neighbors speedrun
job.
community who also held
cheat.
the role of being a run verifier. And you may
Are
be
you telling me that he cheated all the runs, sent it to his buddy Tommy, and Tommy was like, "Yeah, this is cheated, but I like you, so I'm gonna let it slide."
extremely shocked to hear
Like if
that
you're friends with a
Tommy
cop,
and
he'll just
Menzo
let you
had
get away with
actually
stuff.
verified most of each other's speedrun
Oh,
submissions.
wow.
And this led to the other mods of the community suspecting them both of cheating, in addition
Yeah,
to
no
knowingly
shit.
verifying
Tommy
each
was caught
other's
cheating his
cheated
own runs.
Anyways, with all those new sanctions that were placed on Menzo, let's take a look at
You've
a few
only
of the
limited his power
claimed
level.
world record runs
can't
across
contain it.
various speedrun categories and several instances within them that raised some red flags and doubts amongst the mod team during the course of their investigation. First up, we have the any
Whoa,
percent
why
run
does it
for
look
the
like that?
pre-alpha build of Hello Neighbors.
Is it like
which if you
Fortnite where you just turn down your settings to make it run as... Well, no, he's locked at 60
haven't watched
FPS,
my
so that doesn't
video
even work.
covering the pre-release
I was gonna say, get your
builds,
FPS
the
as high
world
as
record
possible,
for
you,
this
like, turn it down to the
category is
lowest
around only like
graphics.
15 seconds. And if you don't think there's room to cheat in those 15 seconds, well, you'd likely
Surely
be
if it's
wrong,
shorter,
as
there's, like,
during his
more room
runs, Menzo was
to
able
cheat.
to pull off
Or
an
not, there's more
incredibly
room, but it'd be easier to get away with because the timing is so small that it would be harder to detect a cheat.
difficult fling move. Now, if you haven't watched my previous videos covering the speedruns of this game, basically by throwing down certain objects and then like immediately jumping off of them, the player can actually propel themselves forwards and upwards at massively
Okay.
increased speeds. And this, of
Cool, I
course,
guess.
can allow a player to skip over much, if not most, of a given area. But what makes this one here so suspicious is just how difficult it is to pull off.
I mean, I'm
Now,
sure you
pulling it off
could do
once
it.
would have been a feat on its own, but Menzo was somehow able to
Oh,
do
was
it
it
almost
100%?
every one
Yeah,
of
okay.
his attempts. And get this fling has only ever been pulled off in a submitted run by him. Now, other members of the speedrun community tried to recreate this fling and see what it takes. And it turns out that they were only able to recreate it by rebinding the jump key to the mouse scroll wheel, and then
That's
when
pretty
scrolling,
common in
this
speedruns
makes
though,
the
right?
inputs per second extremely high. Certainly far faster than any human could possibly hope to match the space key.
I just binded my spacebar to my scroll wheel, if you can hear it right there. And this
Yeah,
will
if
cause
you
it to
had
spam
like a
ex-
Logitech where you can just, and then you have It's not called infinity scroll. What's it called? But you have the button to make it so you don't have those ridges.
Extremely fast. And I'm just going to show you how consistent it is to get flings, let alone good flings, on this. Because I'm going to do like 5 right now, and I bet you like none of them are really going to fail. Look at that. You can't go that fast normally.
And as such,
I mean,
with
it
mouse
works,
wheel
though.
rebinds and macro inputs not
I
allowed
guess.
for speedrunning this game, there was
Oh.
strong suspicion that due
Okay.
to how
It's
consistently
banned.
this fling was performed, the inputs here were believed to have been tampered with. And before we go on, a quick shout out to my channel members like Tiago and Gemdation. If you're enjoying the content and would like to help support the channel and get some
How many
extra
views does this
perks,
video have,
click
out of
the
sheer
join
curiosity?
button below. I've recently
480.
started uploading some member-exclusive behind-the-scenes videos that you may enjoy. Thanks in advance, and I hope to see you there. Now, if you've watched other videos on YouTube
pay
covering
memberships to
speedrun
YouTube channels,
cheating,
just
you'll
as
know
a
that
rule.
these cheaters often go to some pretty long and wild lengths to make sure their runs seem as legitimate as possible. And it seems they will do almost everything but actually play the game and get better at it legitimately. So, you'd think that someone
I mean, from
wouldn't
my understanding,
accidentally
most, like,
allow a running
splicers-
cheat engine window to pop up during
Okay. Well. It was Clara, bro. My understanding, most people who cheat in speedruns are like the upper echelon of players, and it's just like they feel they deserve a world record because they've put so much time into the game.
streamed attempts. Yeah. Needless to say, this was another red flag on the pile
Well,
of them that
you know,
was
cheat
forming.
engine
It's not
showing
too
up is a
surprising
pretty
that
big
Menzo
red
shut
flag.
the
I think at
stream
that point
down
you can say
right
definitively
after this
it's
mishap occurred. Then another run that raised some red
It's,
flags
cheaters.
was Menzo's now former any percent world record attempt for the Alpha 1 version of Hello Neighbor, where in the tutorial section
What
of the
the fuck
run,
is happening?
Menzo picked up 4 items, 3 boxes, and a key
Okay.
incredibly fast. Now, at first glance, this may not seem too out of the ordinary, but Menzo managed to grab all 4 of these items in a mere 4 frames of the game running at 30 frames per second.
Oh,
And if we do some quick math here, to do this, it would require Menzo to be pressing the F key at a rate of 30 times per second, which is quite
Not
a bit
happening.
faster than some of the fastest button mashers in the world. Seems legit. After this, another suspected cheating incident was with Menzo's now disqualified 3.8 second world record run of the Alpha 2 version of Hello Neighbor, where he had performed what was deemed to be an impossible teleport
Was that because
after
it was
clipping through
cheated?
the wall from one point on these stairs to another. Now, what makes this warp impossible to do under normal circumstances is that the player is unable to fling forward using an item after they start running on the ground, which
Okay.
is what was attempted to be passed off here.
Okay, so basically what I mean by impossible teleport is when he comes into the basement, see, this is a decent first frame, but he starts running on the floor for like 8 frames. I don't know if that's actually 8, but still, see, he runs, and then this is when he teleports to the bottom. But the issue is, this could be explained as a fling, but if you're on the ground
Okay,
running,
big
you
butt.
cannot fling after that because you're on the ground running. So this is completely impossible to do.
Now, although it was highly suspected and deemed that this teleport
Hmm.
was impossible to do under
Nah,
normal
he's just on a different skill level.
circumstances, the mods weren't sure how this was pulled off, but they believed that it was likely due to the use of cheat engine, or alternatively, the footage submission for this run may have been edited, and there may have been a splice somewhere combining
I mean,
two
that would
different
have been a
clips
pretty
to
good
make
place to
this
splice
seem
it.
possible. Well, although the cheat engine theory already seemed more likely since we saw it at the end of that stream as we went over earlier, in the raw PC desktop footage submitted for Menzo's attempt at the final game's finale act, he made the mistake of closing the game and then opening up his Discord DMs with Tommy. And this revealed that they were sharing a file titled
Bro,
Always
how are you this
Fling
fucking
A2,
stupid?
with A2 likely
This is
meaning
pirate software
Alpha
level
2.
tomfoolery.
Although at the time it wasn't 100% proven that this exact file was used for cheating with the Alpha 2 runs,
Bro,
it
come on,
definitely
look at the
seemed
name of the
likely,
fucking
and
thing.
it certainly doesn't do much to inspire more trust. And then there's at least one more noted incident of suspected cheating that was noticed in a run submission for, again, the final game's final act. This time, however, by Tommy. Now in this chapter, as I've covered in my past videos, you can actually use a basketball to clip outside of the building that you start this
Okay, I'm not
chapter
gonna
in
ask why,
order
I'm
to
just-
skip
yep.
having to wait for the giant
Collision
neighbor
problem
to
if I had
break
to
it
guess.
down. Well, in this submitted run, right at the start, Tommy pulls off a basketball clip that flings him way up in the air and out of the building. After being investigated, it was deemed that the trajectory at which the player was flung at was normally impossible. And in the gameplay, the character actually starts going down under the floor for a few frames before being flung upwards, which again
Interesting.
is an impossibility in the game. Now, once more, it wasn't 100% clear at the time what exactly was done to pull this off.
Nah, bro, each
Mods
test his own
believed it was
physics.
extremely likely that there was a splice somewhere in this footage. And since conveniently, only Menzo and Tommy have ever been able to pull off a basketball fling like
That's
this,
very,
since they were already
good to
caught
know.
sharing auto-flinging programs
How are they
with each
caught?
other
Who
for the
caught
Alpha
them
2
sharing
version
this?
of the game. Something
Did someone
like
log
that
into one of
wasn't
their
out
accounts?
the question here too. Now, ultimately, after all of these questionable and suspicious occurrences in the runs, whether he caught wind that he was being investigated and it was only a matter of time before he ended up getting caught, or something else, in late
Bro, what is this
January of
gameplay? What is
2025, Menzo actually ended up not only admitting to a bunch of what was already suspected of him, like the pre-release chair fling and the finale basketball clip, but several other things
Major
he
fake
did to
shit.
cheat runs across basically every pre-release version
Oh,
of
hell
Hello
yeah.
Neighbor that went under the radar. And
Bro,
as
why
was
would you, like,
suspected,
explain
across the board, Menzo
cheats they
admitted
haven't
to
even
using
found?
Cheat Engine to pull these cheated runs off. And although, as we saw, there were evidently some slip-ups here and there, Menzo was also apparently running a script that would actually hide all traces of Cheat Engine from his computer while it was running, which adds to how he was able
Well,
to
clearly it fucking didn't.
get away with using it for so long. Now, of course, if you just want to cheat for your own sake in an offline game,
Go
that's
ahead, buddy.
fine.
Yep.
But as soon as you start doing so to post speedrun attempts, let alone several world records, you start to take away from
Yeah, like, I guess if you wanna cheat speedruns in your own time, not for any like world record, but just as your own record. Obviously I don't give a shit then, but if you're cheating this at a world record, it's like, oh,
from everyone else that spends countless hours legitimately improving their skill in that game. Although these cheated runs shouldn't have been verified in the first place, some of them were so far ahead of everyone else that was playing legitimately that it became extremely demotivating to the other runners, and the speedrun categories were considered dead, as
Womp
after
womp,
numerous
get good,
hours
buddy.
of attempts, nobody was getting anywhere close to these world record times. Now, Menzo has also reportedly threatened to copyright strike anyone that archives his cheated attempts.
Oh, wow.
So if
You're one of
anything
them.
happens
Good to know.
this video, well, you might have
You
an
know what
idea
happened.
it was. As we've seen with other speedrunning scandals over the years, it seems to only be a matter of time before cheaters get caught. But evidently, these issues still seem to persist. But hey, at least now, the honest Hello Neighbor runners can get back to achieving real world
Huh.
records. And as an update, the
No
current
cheaters?
full game world record is held by Spoonie with a time of 5 minutes and 20 seconds.
7 seconds
Anyways,
faster
I
than
hope
second
you enjoyed
best.
this video. If you did, check out some of my other speedrun videos, and be sure to
All
subscribe
right.
to the channel too.
Moral of the story: don't be a filthy cheater using those clanker hacks, bro. Sad day for the unemployed. Today we're learning about the most embarrassing moments in gaming journalism. So basically all of it. I'm going to guess beforehand. He's going to have the Persona retard lyric. He's going to have the Cuphead couldn't beat the tutorial. I don't know. Maybe too much water?
Really funny joke. Gaming journalism.
Yeah, it's bad.
I think a lot of people have slowly realized over the years gaming journalism is in dire straits.
Sonic was never good.
For some strange reason, journalism specifically about the gaming industry seems to have people in it who know next to nothing about video games.
I mean,
Some act
I
like
guess most
they've never
journalists-
touched a video game in their
Oh,
life.
this Doom
even
one
though
was
that's,
actually
you know,
horrible.
their job.
New Super Mario Bros. Wii is a tough game, old school tough, so you better bring your butt-stomping A game, as this
Bro, I beat this game when I was like 4. What do you mean?
will test even the most seasoned platforming veterans.
What?
Which begs the question, did these people really want to be game journalists in the first place? Or was this their only shot at getting in the journalism industry in general? It really seems like it would be
I don't
the
even know why
easiest
you'd
job
want to
in the
be a
world.
journalist. It's like
Play
saying I want to be
video
unemployed.
games, go to gaming conventions.
Betrayal!
What?
Betrayal! Betrayed me! This game sucks!
Write
Fear,
about
fear
them, talk
what?
about them. That is like a dream
I liked
job.
the Fear games.
So why is this so hard?
I even like Fear 3
Why do
gameplay-wise.
so many game
Story,
journalists
it's
completely drop the ball when it comes to games journalism.
Oh yes, this
There are a
is the
multitude of
Cuphead.
theories, speculations,
Too
and attempted
much water.
explanations, but none of those are concrete.
Yep.
The fact of the matter is, games journalists cannot stop embarrassing themselves. So why don't I tell you all about my favorite moments of embarrassment from gaming journalists? These are the most embarrassing moments in gaming journalism.
God Hand. Oh, I remember this, yes. I need to play God Hand. It looks like such a fun fucking game. This is the one with the
God Hand
Power
was a
Ranger
PS2 game released in
things.
2006, published by Capcom and made by Clover Studio. Directed by Shinji Mikami of Resident Evil fame,
I punched
God
my mic.
Hand is an
Actually
over-the-top action game, and by over-the-top,
It's
I mean
really over the top. You can literally pimp slap an enemy to death. It's great.
yeah, this game is crazy. If
This
you have
game
not played this
emanates
game
aura.
I suggest after this video is over, go see how it means to play it. It is a one-of-a-kind experience. Every person that I've talked to that's played it loves it. Well, except for one person. Out of all IGN reviews, many of them have been dunked and memed
If
on.
I remember correctly,
There's
this
the
whole
well-known
thing
Omega
was
Ruby and
just
Alpha Sapphire review
they didn't know how
where
to play
they
the
said
game.
it had too much water, and it got memed to hell and back because it sounded so ridiculous. But there is one review they will never live down, and that would be the infamous God Hand review. The
Didn't they
reviewer
remake
gave
this
the
review?
game a 3 out of 10, calling it awful. His main criticisms are, the game is boring, it's frustrating, and annoying. That sounds fair enough, at first. But when you really read through it, it becomes very obvious. He was just really bad at the game. He boils down the combat to just mashing buttons when God Hand lets you do crazy stuff like this.
Yeah, everything I've seen about God Hand is just the most random bullshit ever, but it's random in a good way. Like,
He
it's
then
like the
complains
type of
he
fight you'd
had
make up in your
barely
head
any
when you were
health
like
going
6
from
and you
stage
thought
to
you were a
stage,
superhero.
And this made the game incredibly frustrating. When you put 2 and 2 together, you realize this man was most likely mashing buttons throughout the entire game, was getting his ass whooped, and blamed the game when he kept dying. And some of the info is just flat out contradictory. He claims the enemies were bland and generic, while in the very next paragraph talks about demons that will respawn from fallen enemies, which is something I don't think a lot of games do. That wouldn't really qualify as generic, would it? Oh, and by the way, did I mention that God Hand has a boss fight like this in it?
Yep, here they are. I can't remember what they were called. They're going to tell me though. Yeah, they're based on cards.
Joker! One hard gangster!
Diamonds!
You can find me at
The club!
Have your pet neutered or spayed! Ow, 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 ow! I'm hurt! I mean hurt! Together we are the... Magnetic Power!
Why are you not playing this game yet? So yes,
That
too
clip is
long
fucking
didn't read,
cinema.
he's bad at the game. He
I've
just
seen it
didn't
so many times.
Get it. 3 out of 10. After this review was made, it's probably one of the earliest examples of people taking the piss out of a professional game website. A lot of people were mocking this dude, and this made
Chris
him lash out
Roper.
on the forums. God Hand came and went, but this review did not. For years, this review became the butt of jokes. Anytime a bad game or a literal shovelware got a high score on IGN, it was compared to God Hand. Imagine Party Babies is better than God Hand.
Fucking
Even
what?
IGN is aware of all the crap this review got. They even made a whole video defending God Hand and explaining how good it actually is.
Oh yeah, they did
a few
remake it,
years
so.
ago.
My name is Mitchell Saltzman. I work at IGN, and I'd like to say that God Hand, a game that IGN dubbed awful 13 years ago, is in my opinion not just good, it's actually
Nice save, brother. You're only 13 years late.
When the website you work for is debunking your review over a decade later, that has got to be pretty embarrassing.
Yep, Disability Slur.
Kotaku
This was from
has some of the
Joker,
worst articles
if I
on
remember
gaming
correctly.
I've ever seen. They screw up this job more than any other website on this video. There are a slew of articles I could have used for this video. There's the PS5 review where the viewer says he can't enjoy the PS5 because of the state of the world around
Oh, that's
him.
great, bro.
Well, I'm sorry for you, buddy, but that's something for your therapist and not people wanting a review of a game console. But the one I'm going for is from their UK division.
I think Smash is such a
got
boring
its first
fucking
DLC
game.
character with
I
Joker
just
from
think
Persona
fighting games in
5.
general are boring. They're
But Marvel
cinematic to
Joker
watch,
came
but
with a bunch of
they're
songs
boring
from the
to play.
Persona series. One of the songs being from Persona 5 called Wake Up, Get Out There. Pretty catchy song with some nice lyrics. One journalist at Kotaku UK did not think so highly of it. Shortly after the Joker DLC came out, a hit piece from Kotaku UK came out called
$6, huh?
Smash Bros. Ultimate's Persona 5 DLC contains a disability slur. At around 1 minute 57 seconds, the term retarded is used, followed by the assertion, I can say it. This is the clip in question they're talking about.
Ready to pick up the pieces. Let's go. Let's play retarded.
I mean, to be fair, it does sound like
Now,
she's saying
I
retarded.
will give the writer this. It does sound like it at a passing listen, but when you really think about it,
It doesn't make
too
any
much
sense,
being in
yeah.
the song. Why is your first response to write a hit piece on it? When you listen to the song, you can tell the person who's singing is very obviously from Japan, and
ESL,
Japanese
yeah.
was their first language, not English. So there's a lot of English in here, and she's still trying to sing in a language she's not native in. So why do you immediately go for the worst assumption possible instead of thinking maybe you misheard something? This article was a joke, and a ton of different places laughed at it.
The likelihood that they say retarded in this song is 0%. It doesn't even make any fucking sense. Let's go, let's play retarded? When has that ever been uttered in the history of humanity?
Here, for
And
the first
realizing
time.
they could potentially be
I
wrong,
heard it, bro.
they started editing it to include disclaimers that it might not actually be the word. But then Nintendo and
Appears.
Atlus came out and said, no, the song does not include that word. So it made Kotaku and the writer look like complete fools, which they were. They eventually released a statement apologizing and throwing the writer under the bus, and then the writer threw them under the bus. They would later delete the article, throwing the writer under the bus.
Hold
and
on.
then the writer threw them under
Wow, usual suspect. Isn't that crazy?
the bus.
We received an email from a disabled gamer who highlighted this word. I bet you did, yep. I listened and could certainly hear what was suggested, so I asked my boss for his opinion. He ran with it, insisted it was 100% this, told me to write it up. My initial draft was lots of appears to be statement. It was a call to discussion for a certain piece. My boss took out all the seems to be and said it live prior to me hearing, but I bet, yeah, okay. Hold on, I will be back in 1 second.
They would later delete the article.
Didn't fucking mean to click play. I'm back. I just had to get a can of C4 and water because I should drink. Hold on. Oh yeah. First sip. Oh yeah, that's good. I got water as well though, because I should have actual hydration as well. As cringe as it is, because water tastes like shit.
And a month after
Yes, I am one of those people. Let me adjust my mic. There we go.
everything blew over, the writer announced they were leaving Kotaku UK to focus on their own projects.
Give me the opportunity to be Kotaku.
While she didn't say the article was a factor for the departure or not, the timing is a bit
It's
too
pretty
coincidental
obvious, yeah.
for it to not have been a factor. Mishearing a song lyric, having become the punching bag for a week, and having an article you wrote get deleted, and then leaving the company a month later, that's really embarrassing.
I mean, to be fair, working for Kotaku is pretty embarrassing in and of itself.
Probably the
Polygon. This one I'm not familiar with, actually.
most infamous thing Polygon has ever done
Yeah, the Doom.
was the Doom 2016 gameplay video, where the guy playing it acts like he has never touched a video game in his life.
This is a type of gamer that Doom Dark Ages was made for. I hated Dark
A
Ages.
blind chimpanzee
I wanted to love
probably
it,
has
but I
better
just
aim than the guy playing right
couldn't.
now. But everyone knows about this incident. I'm going to be talking about one that's largely
Actually, just seeing Chris Redfield there. Apparently, voice crack. Apparently, Resident Evil 5 isn't actually getting a remake. Or at least they're not making one at the moment. I don't know how true that is. It's something I saw on Twitter in passing. When I checked the comments, everyone was saying that the source was iffy at best. Just something I thought was interesting.
forgotten about.
Actually, do I
Better
even have
Bayonetta 2
9
review.
wish lists on Steam?
Bayonetta was
Just
always
so I get a
Devil
ping
May
when it
Cry,
comes
but
out.
with boobs.
I love titties, so Bayonetta would be up my alley. I'm looking for Resident Evil
That's what the entire series has always been.
Requiem.
Hideki Kamiya loves women and the way women look.
I
he got-
like women and the way women look too. I can agree with him on that. Women are hot.
character designer
Bold take, I know.
who is also a woman to design the character he wanted. So you got an action game with a sexy witch because that's what Kamiya wanted and that's what Kamiya got. When it comes to Polygon's review, they spend only a few paragraphs talking about the gameplay itself. It seems mostly positive and says it does a lot of things better than the original. But that
Okay.
doesn't matter, because 2/3 of it are complaining about the fact the game shows off Bayonetta's assets too much. The game
Oh, no, I want to read that. Unapologetically old school. This is a knife that cuts both ways. Developer Platinum Games is once again gone for broke. Creating an action game of spectacle so big it's occasionally incomprehensible. Bayonetta 2 is the kind of game where you might ask seriously why you're not allowed to strap a massive multi-bladed scythe to your heels. It's extravagant, like the golden age of Japanese action games never ended. Like that arms race just escalated on and on. It's also the kind of game that left me asking how many times, how many different ways Developer Platinum could run a camera up the main character, spread legs and cleavage. Have you ever watched an anime? Do you know how creative they can get for titty and ass shots? One side of the knife is character action, refines, credible combat, avoids lack of variety. The bizarre sexualization, objectification on display. Okay.
of it are complaining about the fact the game shows off Bayonetta's assets too much. The game was made by a guy who likes boobs in action. The game is made for guys who like boobs in action, and they have the right to enjoy those if they please. And the entire review is basically trashing the audience this game is intended for. He calls it cheap and pandering. He even docks points from the final score because of it, even though he flat out said it did things better than the original. Like, if you don't like games with cheap boob and ass shots, that's fine.
Why are you playing them
But
then?
that begs the question. Why the hell are you reviewing a game that was made purposely for that? Like, look at this box art. Look at it. What the hell were you expecting?
I wouldn't mind tasting it.
Oh man, I sure hope this movie called Saw certainly doesn't have any blood or violence in it.
That
Arthur
would be a
Gates
pity.
was the reviewer of Bayo 2 here, and he looks
Yeah, he looks like the type.
like he just got off recording for some 2000s new metal band. A lot of people complained about this review back then, but it's since fallen into obscurity because, well, other things
Doom,
would take center
yeah.
stage in the years to come. People do bring it up time to time, and Arthur still doubles down
Oh
whenever
my
it's brought
god.
up. Having
Oh my god, he's still
to constantly defend your nearly 10-year-old review from
He's still
criticism,
talking about
well,
it.
that's kind of embarrassing.
PlayStation Vita is set to succeed. Not familiar with this one.
The PlayStation Vita was a great handheld system. It was sleek, powerful, had a nice screen, and had
It was
a lot
fine.
of good games.
My brother had one.
The issue is,
Hey,
it was
Boom.
released into a sea of hot competition by a company that didn't seem to care about it. But it still has its fans.
I'm good.
You know a girl named Nora? Sure, yeah. Where is she? In the hospital. Where in the hospital?
Never played this game. Don't think I
They're
ever
clearing
will.
out the upper floors.
It
She's
looks.
somewhere in there.
Maybe I'll play the first one. Won't play the second one though. Wow. Cinema.
And one of those fans worked at IGN. Colin Moriarty
Oh, we love
is a
IGN.
huge PlayStation fan. No, actually, he's
Oh,
a slobbering
Blood Dragon. I remember that.
PlayStation fanboy. And he,
Don't
like
think I ever
most
played it
fanboys,
fully.
had a sense of
I played Far Cry
superiority
3
to
fully,
their
but not Blood
competitors.
Dragon.
And he was going to express this in a piece he wrote about the PS Vita before it's released. The PlayStation Vita is set to succeed.
Source?
Now, there's nothing wrong with wanting a console you're a fan of to succeed, but this article is more than that. This entire article is
My excitement
pure
for the Vita is
fanboyism
palpable.
at its finest. If he just wanted to gush about
Okay.
the Vita, that would have been
That's fine.
But of course,
All I know about
he
the
had
PS
to
Vita is the PS Portable thing that I think it was Fox News did.
compare it to the 3DS. He said the Vita was superior to the 3DS. I mean, hardware-wise, sure, but not just in hardware, in every aspect. The library, the brand
including
itself,
exclusives?
and flat out said the Vita was destined to sell more than the 3DS. And let me
Oh,
remind you,
it's
this is
destined,
for a
alright.
handheld that had not been released yet. He even flat out says the 3DS is of no concern to Sony. Nintendo isn't
Oh.
even competition to them. The real
That's-
competition is smartphones. But he says
Okay.
that after he spent most of the article saying how the 3DS is lesser to it, calling the 3DS library Nintendo 64 games and worn out, tired game series. This is one of
Bro, having a Nintendo 64 library on the go sounds amazing. What do you mean? The 64 is like well, maybe not their most famous, but it's like their PS2.
the most fanboyish,
Or their Xbox
insecure
360.
console warring articles I have ever seen. But as we all know, the PS Vita wasn't set to succeed. In fact,
Yeah, no, it did not do well.
pretty bad on the market, especially to the 3DS.
Yeah, 'cause no one
which
fucking
also
wanted it.
struggled, but still managed to sell 75 million units, while the Vita only sold around 15 million. The market spoke, and the Vita wasn't going to beat the 3DS. Sorry, Colin, but as long as Pokemon exists, the Vita didn't stand a chance. Colin will later leave IGN a few
Also,
years
as well, PlayStation is more known for its like hardcore games, and no one really wants to play like a super hardcore, stressful game on the go because the screen is too small, the controls are too clunky, it just doesn't work. Or the majority. I do know some people don't really mind. Like I had people who play battle royales on their phone are just fucking crazy. It's kind of that audience, but like a DS is, yeah, Pokemon, Animal Crossing, Zelda, like usually not very high intensity games. You could just kind of turn your brain off and half play them, half I don't know, do whatever else you're doing.
later to go on his own path. But having this stain of an article still up as a reminder of how much you worship the ground PlayStation walks is incredibly
Is he still a PlayStation meat writer?
embarrassing.
Alien. Actually, I think I might know this one. I might be familiar.
Now, I contemplated putting this review in here because I actually feel really bad for the guy who wrote this. But it's still a funny story, so I decided to include it anyway.
Alien Resurrection. Whoa. I think this is the one where he said he hated the game because of the controls. I think.
Alien Resurrection was a movie made in 1997 and was the fourth
Never
film
watched
in the
an Alien movie.
franchise. And honestly, it's a fun popcorn movie, nothing else. But being a late 90s blockbuster film, it of course got a game tie-in that was delayed for years and years until it finally
it got
came
Duke
out in the
Nukem
year
Forever?
2000. The game got middling scores all across the board and is mostly forgotten these days, seeing as it, well, came 3 years after the movie.
I mean,
There
it's all right scores.
was one review
It's no
on it,
Concorde.
though, that while back then wasn't much, today is pretty funny to look at. The GameSpot review, where the reviewer gave it a 4 out of 10, which sort of makes sense for the movie
Hey,
review
round that up,
score.
it's a 5.
But what is the reason for the 4 out of
The
10,
good,
you may
not
ask?
available.
Well, the reviewer's main criticism was the controls. And what were the controls on this game like? Well, in the reviewer's own words, the game's control setup is its most terrifying element. The left analog stick moves you forward, back, and strays right and left, while the right analog stick turns you and can be used to look up and down. Too often, you'll turn to face a foe and find that your weapon is aimed at the floor or ceiling, while the alien gleefully hacks away at your midsection. Now, does that
Skill
sound
issue.
familiar to you? Well, it should, because that is the control scheme for every single console shooter used to this day.
I mean, to be fair, if you played a
Yes,
console shooter,
this
that's
game
terrifying.
was one of the first games to use the dual
Using a
analog
controller
setup
is-
everything uses now. It was a pioneer, and this reviewer hated the game for it. It's funny to laugh at it now, but you have to remember, back in 2000, a controller with 2 analog sticks was still a new thing, and controlling the game with 2 analog sticks was something never really done. Even a few years into the PS2's life, you still had games using the L and R buttons to control the camera. It was
Sounds
too
horrible.
hard to shift away
What?
from what people were used to.
So what, it's a static turn?
This review was just kind of suffering from growing pains. The way we control games were changing, and this reviewer could not adapt. It's not really his fault, but it kind of is. Trashing a game for its control scheme that would later
Why
become
do you feel
the
bad
industry
for him?
standard is
What
something he
happened?
could have never predicted, but in the end, it's still embarrassing.
Kanan Lynch. This is the reason that bomb website got made.
From the creators of Hitman comes Kane and Lynch.
It's like the guy reviewing it didn't rate it high enough, so they fired him.
Kane and Lynch Deadman was a game released in 2007, and it was set
It's
to
shit.
be huge. A big, next-gen AAA game that was also a new IP. This game was hyped up quite
There's
a bit
two
back
games.
in the day.
Kane
Every
Lynch,
place
Kane
was
Lynch
talking
2, Dog
about it
Days.
and making a huge deal about it. And when the game finally came out, like, it got middling review scores across the board. It wasn't a game changer, but it was fine. That seemed to be the consensus. GameSpot was one of the websites hyping the game up to hell and back. You could not go anywhere on their site without seeing an advertisement for the game. They were telling you to buy it right
How
there.
much money
and
were
right
they
now.
offered to
But
do
when
that?
it came time to review the game, Jeff Gertzman on the staff was ready and able, and the score he gave it, 6 out of 10. So yeah, about what every other site was saying about it. But this was a special case, because GameSpot was very obviously taking handouts from the game's publisher, and once they saw Jeff gave the game a fair and honest review, and not a 9 or 10 out of 10 masterpiece, buy it now,
See, my mic
they
is actually
threatened
picking on
to
my
pull
headset
their
audio.
money. This led to GameSpot putting a lot of
Alright, we're
pressure
good
on
now.
Jeff, who stood his ground and refused to back off. This would lead to GameSpot pulling his review
Still
and
not used to the
firing
boom arm.
him because he wasn't trustworthy enough. Jeff would later go on to form his own game website,
What's it called?
Giant Bomb,
Giant Bomb,
so he
that's
could
what it's
keep
called.
being an
Okay.
honest game reviewer. But this incident is more substantial than you think. This man was fired because he was being honest. He wasn't trying to butter people up or be dishonest with the people who were listening. He flat out told everyone, the game is alright. And he was
He
fired.
didn't even
for
say
that.
it was bad. He just said it was mid.
This basically proved what many thought was happening in gaming journalism. It was very possible for the publishers and companies to butter the review websites up with some cold hard cash to sway review scores. This is exactly what happened. With all the advertising for the game, only to be given an average review score, the reviewer was then fired, That basically put huge doubt on any games journalism website. This can happen
GameSpot ruined
to
it all.
any of them.
GameSpot was the equivalent
And
of the
making
horse.
everyone start to doubt games
horse
journalism
armor.
in general is extremely embarrassing. This puts a nice bow on everything. The fact of the matter is, it all comes down to money in the end.
Obviously,
Money makes
yeah.
the world go round. Integrity and
Money,
honesty
making
be
the world
damned.
go round.
Whatever makes me the most green is what matters most. That is what has been the main goal for a long time.
Yeah,
in the
no
gaming
shit.
industry, in the games journalism industry, in any industry. And that probably will be the main goal for as far as the eye can see. Remember, kids, the only opinion you can truly trust
Is your own. Oh, wait.
And no one can take that away from you. God bless, like and subscribe, and good night.
Yeah, I don't really have anything to say other than gaming journals. Yeah, moral of the story, don't trust fucking gaming journals because they're probably paid off. And if they're not, they'll get fired from their job, I guess. Or they're just stupid. They can also just be stupid, like the Cuphead guy, so, you know. Just don't trust them. They're not trustworthy people. They don't know what they're talking about. And this is the last one we have until I end stream, so I'm waiting for my desk tomorrow. I've put this video on the back burner for a while when I needed some more content slop for me. So thank you, Big Boss.
2022, and a man by the name of George Anthony DeVolder Santos
Gads.
is running for Congress in New York's 3rd Congressional District. That's this area of Long Island, here. Close
Do you not just have one mayor for all of New York?
to 1 million constituents, and a very wealthy area, this being where The Great Gatsby was set. This
Never
area
watched
is
it.
not unimportant. In fact, this race could actually come to define the razor-thin margins that decides who will hold the House majority until 2024. Enter political newcomer George Santos. He'd rocked up to the political scene
Every
in Long
time he says
Island a
George,
couple
I
of
think he's going to say Soros. And I get so sad when he doesn't.
years prior, running as a House Republican in 2020.
The fuck is this? I know this is Democrat, this is Republican. What is this, independent?
He'd lost, but this area had historically leaned heavily Democrat, and he was up against a political heavyweight at the time, a man called Tom Swazi. But
No
the year
idea.
was now 2022, and this time, your man Tom Swazi wasn't running, meaning no current incumbent, and that the seat was fair game. Now about Santos. He's chic. Burberry scarves, Ferragamo shoes, Ray-Ban shades, and his staple sweater under the blazer look. Santos
he's one
looks
of them.
good. His education, only the finest. He went to Horace Mann, a 60k a year private high school, before being scouted on a volleyball scholarship to Baruch College.
What,
even
fucking
more
volleyball?
prestigious.
Come on, man.
Here, he was a star volleyball player, winning championships against Yale and Harvard, before graduating from New York University with a business degree in 2013. Straight after college,
Okay,
he's
so a
airdropped
business degree
directly onto Wall
is
Street, where he
worthless,
starts
alright.
working for Goldman Sachs and Citigroup immediately.
Oh, alright.
And just last year, Santos was managing a $1.5 billion fund at a company called Harbor City Capital. Not bad. He'd also founded and run the non-profit pet charity Friends of Pets United, where
Okay.
he'd go on to single-handedly save over 2,000 dogs. He also has a
Actually curious
connection
how
to
he's
his
so hated.
constituents rarely seen in politics, from the basements of Jackson Heights, Queens, to Gatsbyland. Santos was a true New Yorker. He's half black, half white, and Jewish.
I come from a Jewish family. My mother's family is Jewish.
I think I see the issue.
In fact, his grandparents actually survived the Holocaust.
Because my grandparents survived the Holocaust.
His mum was even in the
Okay.
South Tower during 9/11. So when, in 2020, the resume of this man lands on Joe Cairo, the Republican Party chairman's desk in Nassau County, which the 3rd Congressional District covered about half of,
Bronx,
he
the
didn't
Queens,
think
Brooklyn.
twice. Santos was the man for the job.
He doesn't
And
look
after
like a
another
politician,
long,
he just looks like
arduous campaign effort,
a Walmart
the
American.
3rd District's 2022 congressional race is almost over. And on the crisp Wednesday morning of November the 9th, The votes are being counted and projections slowly materialize. And it was clear. Santos had won.
Victory
He'd
Royale.
got over 140,000 votes.
54%.
That was
Nice.
over 20,000 more than his opponent.
Yikes.
Who
Don't show
concedes
IDubbbz
with
to
an
me ever
opposite
again.
count. Our boy was
I
in.
don't want to know about iCox.
He doesn't make it a few weeks before the troubles start.
Oh, good.
But first, come. We're going to Shinnok.
I'm not going to come, thank you.
Played StarCraft before? Or returning after a long time offline? Fantastic. Take a closer look. On the 19th of December 2022, the New York Times publishes an article.
Uh-huh.
It's about George Santos, and it's interesting. See, as is natural, Santos had said a lot of things on the campaign
He
trail.
may have exaggerated.
However, take a closer look, and some things didn't exactly add up. First off, his education. Horace Mann, Baruch College, and NYU. But when asked to confirm whether he'd actually been there, Horace Mann conducted a search. They scoured through decades of their records for one George Santos. However,
Ooh.
nothing.
Couldn't find
the same
anything.
for
Yeah.
Baruch College.
What?
And the same for NYU too.
So where did he go to school?
George Santos was nowhere to be found. The same for Citigroup and Goldman Sachs. They too had never heard of the man. And that $1.5 billion fund he managed? Well, he did work for a company called Harbor City, but turns out they never had more than $17 million, and they're currently being sued by the SEC for being an actual Ponzi scheme. Despite his claims,
Good to
it
know.
seems he actually attended a public middle school in Queens and never graduated high school. Also,
see an issue
when he
with
said
that.
he was working on Wall Street fresh out of college, he was actually working over in the industrial part of Queens, in a call center for $12 an hour. Some
Okay.
details of his time here come out. Allegedly, from the first day at this call center, Santos would brag about the wealthy family he came from back in Brazil, the expensive property he'd amassed in places like Nantucket, and his
Alright.
Belgian and Jewish parents. Turns out, both of his parents were actually Brazilian, and despite his family's lavish property holdings, they were actually on welfare at the time, and had recently been getting eviction notices. He'd also apparently go around his
Shit.
office,
Clip my
showing
mic.
everyone his lovely holiday pictures, like that amazing trip he'd just been on to Dubai. One problem,
Dubai is such a
he
shithole
wasn't
now.
actually in any of the photos,
Photoshopped.
and they were just
Oh.
some random pictures he'd found online. and
Oh,
put
even
together.
better.
He'd also tell people that he'd pay for their wedding dresses and other random expenses free of charge. Shockingly, he never followed through. And after the New York Times sifts through various public documents and court filings, turns out there's a few issues pertaining to his campaign finances.
What's this?
One of these includes a $700,000 loan he'd claimed he'd made to his own campaign, but later on would
Wait,
backtrack.
what? He claims he loaned 700,000 to himself. Why?
Saying any personal loans to the campaign were not from personal funds. If that money turns out to be from someone else, that's a potential felony.
Oh.
Not good. On the trail, he'd also repeatedly claimed he owns a mansion in Oyster Bay Cove, as well as a mansion in the Hamptons. However,
Nice house.
campaign records show that Santos was actually living in a rented terraced house in Queens, and that he'd never even lived at the address he was currently registered to vote at. Also, he'd claimed on multiple occasions that he was
I
Jewish.
come from a Jewish family.
Turns out, no. No, he's not.
I always joke, I'm Catholic, but I'm also Jew-ish.
Other claims of his, that his mother
Nice save. I bet that worked out really well for you.
escaped Tower 2 during 9/11.
My mom was a 9/11 survivor. She was in the South Tower, and she made it out.
And died from ash-related cancer. His mum wasn't even in the country in 2001. Also, that she was the first female executive at a major
No, she was on the plane,
financial
bro. She was flying
institution.
it.
She was a housekeeper at the time. That she was prominent in the Republican Party and a donor spanning 2 decades. She'd never donated to any political party and was never registered to vote in New York. She wasn't
Is
even a
donating to political parties like a normal thing? Because whenever I hear about it, it's only ever like other politicians that do it, and like celebrities sometimes, like Scott Cawthon. Although whether you want to call Scott Cawthon a celebrity is up for debate, I guess, depending on the person. But like, apart from him, and obviously like people lobbying, I don't think I've ever heard of anyone actually donating to a political party, or at least directly. They might give money to a party affiliated with a political party, but never like directly to it.
Time. Then there's the lovely wedding. Wait, with a woman? Santos had been openly gay for a long time and had never disclosed a marriage when signing up to run. Well, turns out that after looking into marriage records, he had one back in 2012, and Santos had left that little detail off of his disclosure forms. Despite his new wife filing her first divorce request just 1 year later, and then using their marriage to allegedly help gain citizenship, everything was above board and not dodgy at all. In December 2022, he said he'd experienced vandalism, an assassination attempt, the need for a police escort at their house for safety, and a threatening letter. He also claims he had his shoes stolen off his feet in the middle of Fifth Avenue.
Hassan Piker,
but worst of all, absolutely no volleyball. This was very easily verifiable, as Yale, who had claimed to beat in a championship,
we went to play against Harvard, Yale, and we slay them.
never actually had a men's varsity volleyball team. During the 2022 race,
Could you at least have done the bare minimum amount of research and found a school with a male volleyball team?
Republican organizations also
I'm sure there's 5 Ivy League schools. I'm sure one of them has a male volleyball team.
Wind of some of this, and the man was dubbed George Scamtos. One
That was
Republican
very
says
clever.
his run wasn't a campaign,
Scamtos.
more like
Genius.
a beach party. Santos had also claimed he'd helped develop carbon capture technology.
With carbon capture
Jesus
technology
Christ.
that I've helped develop and fundraise for in my career.
The result?
Same energy as
chaos. Santos's lawyer comes
that
out
hydrogen
instantly. Gentlemen,
thing
these defamatory
that one
claims
celebrity keeps
are
talking
simply
about.
untrue. Our boy Santos is just being smeared by his enemies at the paper, he says. Nonetheless, a multitude of investigations go ahead. These include the local Long Island District Attorney's Office and the New York State Attorney General's Office, who was looking at a number of issues. Joe Cairo comes out. He says these are pretty serious issues, and that Santos should probably address them. That's not what he's doing. In fact, no one even knows where he is at the moment. His phone calls
Why?
also seem to be bouncing. But after a
Why?
few days, he decides to pick up the phone.
After a few days, he finally decides to do his job.
He calls Cairo, and he has
hello,
an explanation.
hello.
See, the whole thing was all just one big misunderstanding.
I
he
bet.
said. Cairo asks about his apparently blatant lies, and Santos has an answer. He had graduated from Baruch. It's just someone there probably just searched under the wrong name, I guess.
Nice. Amazing. You could have had something like, oh yeah, I legally changed my name so they wouldn't find me under that name or some shit. No. They probably just couldn't write my name.
Probably. He's gonna hold a press conference next week and get this all ironed out. That never happens. He does, however, open Twitter and get to work. But turns out his answers aren't going down well, and calls to resign come flooding in from all directions. He'd tried his best, but Santos wasn't digging himself out of this. And so, the apology tour begins. He talks to Fox News, OAN, the New York Post, and more. And finally comes clean. Listen, lads. I
lied about
I made
everything.
mistakes. Humans have faults. I'm not a fraud or fake. Please give me a second chance. He also admits that he embellished his resume, and that he's really sorry about that.
I mean, to be fair, everyone embellishes their resume. If you don't, you're kind of fucking stupid. Unless it's like a government job or something where you could get in trouble if you embellish it. Well, I mean, actually, he is a government job, so that is a bit silly. But broadly speaking, you should embellish your resume.
It's now January 2023. New year, new Santos. Honest, clean cut, a straight arrow. He's ready to get to work and represent his people. However, things start out rocky. On the second day of the year, Brazilian authorities have an announcement. They're reviving a decades-old case against Santos for fraud. They claim that from 2008 to 2011, Santos had actually been living in Brazil with his mother, during which time he'd stolen jewelry from multiple people and forged hundreds of dollars of stolen checks. He'd then used that to pay for designer clothing and then dip out from the country. It also turns out that Santos's own lawyer in Brazil at the time wasn't exactly clean either.
Well, not
He'd been
because he got
charged
caught.
and sentenced to 18 years in prison for a connection to a gang execution. He apparently started studying law while on house arrest. Then, the same week that case is revived, a formal complaint begins to be filed in Congress, demanding a house ethics investigation, meaning he's now under local, state, federal, and international investigation, as well as a number of calls to resign. This is all before he's even sworn in. But forget about all of that, because it's the special day.
Can he get fired before he's sworn in? If he does, what happens? Do they just automatically give it to the other person, or do they revote?
Was going to ruin it. In the midst of all the chaos, on the 7th of January 2023, George Santos is sworn into Congress. He could now, finally, serve his district.
Okay, I'm guessing he doesn't.
Protests erupt outside his new office in Long Island immediately, demanding he resigns. There's also a poll that shows that more than 70% of Republicans in his district want him out. Texts and
love it when people just randomly walk into my room. It's great.
Calls to his cell phone are
Hold on. Jesus Christ. Okay.
still going unanswered, and he's apparently...
Sorry, what was even happening? What?
So a poll shows that more than 70% of Republicans in his district...
He is Republican, isn't he? So his own party just wants him to fuck off.
Want him out.
So what is it? Resign, don't resign, NA, I'm assuming is just didn't vote or doesn't care.
Texts and calls to his cell phone are still going unanswered, and he's apparently in hiding. Members of his own team don't even know where he is. He's also dodging swarms of reporters, who are peppered around the halls of Congress, looking
I mean, to be fair, I would dodge reporters as much as possible as well. They're fucking parasites.
for him 24/7.
Dude, shave it. Shave it. It's not worth it.
They're even holding stakeouts outside of his office.
Mr. Bean!
And it's actually stopping him from turning up. Naturally, the media are out for blood. Every outlet is after him. The New York Times, the Washington Post, Mother Jones, and more information is coming out on him constantly. January 12th, 2023. Just 5 days after being sworn in, and after lots of deliberation, Joe Cairo has decided not to believe Santos on Baruch searching under the wrong name, and he's now holding
Yeah, no shit.
a press conference, also calling him to resign.
His immediate resignation.
You're his boss, though, aren't you? Can you not just force him to resign?
This comes as a new report also claims that he, alongside his campaign treasurer, had set up a political campaign organisation where he had used his political connections to scam tens of thousands of dollars out of other Republicans running. Guilty or not, one thing was absolutely clear here. This man was not resigning. He was serving his people, whether they liked it or not.
Will you resign? I will not. 142
I will not.
people ask for me to resign, I'll resign.
Buddy, you don't want to be making statements like that.
I will not resign. I will be continuing to hold my office elected by the people.
And so, he continues
Yeah, but the people are now electing for you to get the fuck out.
to act like a
So-
congressman. He puts on the suit, and he plays the part well. He talks Iran and gas prices, and attends meetings and votes. He's having fun.
That is the most zesty looking man I've seen in my life. I know he is actually gay, but like, or he claims to be gay. I don't know. He has a wife. Ex-wife.
If he could just pretend none of this other stuff was happening, then maybe it'll go away.
To be fair, that is the strat. It's the same with YouTubers. If you ever have something bad come out about you, just don't ever acknowledge it, and eventually people will forget. Especially
But
new
the
gens.
first few dominoes had fallen, and more were on their way. It's around the 12th of
Selling cameos.
January that something else comes out. See, there's a drag queen in Brazil, and they've just posted a picture of themselves with another man in drag.
Oh.
This man is George Santos.
Oh.
So turns out, when Santos was supposedly going to a $60,000 a year
He was in
Horace
drag.
Mann school in New York, he was actually a drag queen living in Brazil. And the media runs with it.
At one point performed drag in Brazil.
I've never known him as George Santos.
He says he's very confident Santos is the person to the right of your screen.
Despite the multiple pictures and videos of him as a drag queen, he denies he was a drag queen.
Claiming I'm a drag queen is categorically false.
It is.
It's not though, is it?
It's seemingly confirmed here in a now deleted 2011.
Gay nightclub drag queen. That is a mouthful. He was probably getting mouthfuls too, but it's neither here nor there.
Wikipedia page on him, which he'd seemingly written himself.
And won several gay beauty pageants.
Under the name Anthony DeVolder.
Why would someone invent you?
Not only that, turns out, according to this, he'd also appeared on Hannah Montana and The Sweet Life
What?
of Zack and Cody back in the early 2000s.
Never watched Zack and Cody.
He'd also apparently started this
Or Hannah
Hollywood
Montana, for
career
that matter.
after being scouted by the big producer behind Independence
Steven
Day
Spielberg.
by Steven Spielberg. His first role being in the movie The Invasion in 2009,
Invasion.
starring Uma Thurman and Alicia Silverstone.
Who?
That's not a movie. There
Oh.
was a movie called The Invasion in 2007. However, that features Nicole Kidman and Daniel Craig. Independence Day was never directed by Steven Spielberg. The same week as the Wikipedia page is discovered, a disabled military veteran comes out. He says that Santos scammed him out of $3,000 in 2016, back when he was homeless. Turns out that Santos had set up a charity called Friends of Pets United back in 2013.
Oh, this one.
Its mission? To rescue, raise money for, and support the well-being of dogs and other pets. This is where he claimed to save over 2,000 dogs. About that. What he'd actually do, allegedly, is drive out to places like rural Pennsylvania,
Don't tell me he just drove out to a farm and just kidnapped dogs.
haggle with dog breeders, hand them a bad check, and then take off with the goods. He'd go on to sell these puppies for hundreds apiece via adoption events run by his same charity. He'd also apparently set up fundraising events, organise some drinks, get a barbie going, and then stick a $50 price tag on the ticket, with the proceeds going towards something like an animal shelter. However,
But he was
when
the
it was
animal
time
shelter.
to hand over the money, Santos was gone. But in 2016, a homeless, disabled military veteran's dog had gotten cancer. He needs a few $1,000s for his dog's life-saving surgery,
that good boy.
and the man he's just been recommended to help out? George Santos.
Oh god.
Santos sets up a GoFundMe.
You look amazing.
It makes some waves on Facebook, and eventually raises over $3,000.
Holy shit, look at that
So
tumor.
Santos sends the veteran to a practice he recommends in Queens. But here, the surgeon he'd recommended tells him his dog's tumour is inoperable. So the veteran tries to claim the money and go to another vet. However, his calls and texts to Santos are now getting no response, and the donations page has been removed from the site entirely. Santos had seemingly taken the money and run. Turns out, he'd also been going under the name Anthony Zabrowski.
What? Oh, okay.
He was eventually charged in Pennsylvania in 2017 for taking off with the unpaid dogs.
Hey, Amber Turd.
However, he claimed that his checkbook had simply gone missing. And with that, he's
Convenient.
dismissed of all charges.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Also, both the IRS and the Attorney General's office in New York and New Jersey have a look through the records, and neither are able to find any evidence that Friends of Pets United ever actually existed at all. Around the same time all of this comes out, one of Santos's old roommates in Queens speaks to the press.
I could not imagine something more terrifying than having the fucking IRS be looking into you. Like, they're if the IRS are looking after or looking for you, you're cooked. You're just gone. Who was it they caught again? It was some massive drug dealer, like it wasn't Coney, but it was one of those ones where it was like he evaded arrest for fucking months, years, not months, years. But I suppose technically months, because but years and years, and the IRS looked into him because he wasn't paying taxes, and they found him in like a week.
He claims that when he knew him, he'd gone by the name Anthony DeVolder, and that delusions of grandeur were abundant, with Santos apparently often splashing $100 bills at bars, only to end up broke in just a few days. There are also claims he stole money from an aunt, stole checks from a roommate, stole jewellery from friends, and that $500 Burberry scarf of his, also stolen. Santos maintains that it's his scarf. At this point,
if he stole it, it's technically his now.
Santos stories were out.
Not legally,
it was
but,
almost too much to keep track of. A steady flow each week, each more preposterous than the last. And on the 22nd of January, Santos lands in New York, so the press pick up their cameras and head out. It's go time, boys. They continue to stake out his office and linger around the halls of Congress, snapping up any chance to ask him a question. He gets quite annoyed.
I got you guys some donuts. Donuts and coffee for all the hard work you guys do. Thank you so much for being here and doing your job.
But it's clear, the cameras love him.
Okay, to be honest, so I do kind of vibe with that passive-aggressive thing. I hate both parties here, but I do like him a little more after that interaction. Still hate him, but he went from like a 0.01 to like a 0.02 on the likability scale.
So an instant punchline on SNL. All in all, the month of January has been a rough one. In February, he continues to roll with the punches. On the first day of the month, he's forced to step down from every US House committee he's on, basically meaning he can't play a larger role as congressman, and he apologizes again, saying he's deeply sorry.
So what's his job
The
now?
same day, the government officially probes his Friends of Pets United charity. A couple days after that, a new audio is leaked to the press. In it, Santos says he lied to everyone.
And I've obviously up and lied to him, like I lied to everyone else.
The same day
Why
as
would
that,
you admit
it comes out
this?
that in 2021,
This is the same energy as Venom's being like, yeah, so if you enjoyed not watching that horrible video, what did she say again? It's not like comment. She said, throw a prime. What was it? Throw a prime. Thank you for sticking with me watching that horrible video. Something. It's like, why would you fucking say that? Like, you're incriminating yourself, you fucking stupid bitch. Like, come on.
Santos had gone around the campaign trail telling potential donors that he was a producer on the musical Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark. This is a show that lost
What? Such a niche thing to lie about.
investors $60 million, suffered a ton of legal battles and technical problems, and resulted in multiple actors seriously injured.
Oh, great.
And 2 days after that, a sexual harassment complaint is submitted by a former
Wait, was
aide.
he actually... Wait. Okay, so the one thing he was a part of, a bunch of people got injured. Amazing.
Santos denies the allegation,
I did not.
calling it comical. Right. Enough is enough. Lads, this guy's gotta go. And they filed to expel the man from Congress. February, not off to a great start either then. The expulsion filing doesn't get very far, but in March, the House Ethics Committee stages a vote to investigate Santos.
Why is there a group of
This,
fucking K-pop
over the
boys?
multiple allegations that he'd engaged in unlawful activity during his campaign, failed to disclose required information on house forms, violated federal conflict of interest laws, and
Oh, that's not
engaged in
good.
sexual misconduct.
That's not
and there's
good.
a lot on the man's plate right now. The vote to investigate further is unanimous. Since things are going so well, in April, Santos decides it's time to make an announcement. Lads,
He's resigning.
I'm running again, and his election
Okay,
campaign for
not quite.
2024 is officially declared. But on the 10th of May, Santos gets a knock on the door. Turns out, it's the feds, and he's now under arrest. He's slapped with 13 federal charges, including
How many
7
of them
counts
stop,
of
though?
wire fraud, 3 counts of money laundering, 1 count of theft of public funds, and 2 counts of lying to the House of Representatives. See, during COVID, George Santos had claimed some pandemic unemployment money,
Oh,
about
stimulus checks.
$24,000 worth. One problem, he had a job and was on a 120k salary.
I mean, to be fair though, a lot of people claim stimulus checks when they shouldn't have claimed them. Like, that happened everywhere in the world. Just in my mic. Yeah, everyone, everywhere claimed stimulus checks they weren't supposed to be claiming.
Santos had also just sponsored a bill to claw back fraudulent COVID handouts, meaning he'd just endorsed a bill targeting himself. Then there's his campaign funds. Turns out, he'd used a ton of them to buy that designer wardrobe of his, and pay for credit card bills. A lot of this came from 2 big donors, who he'd managed to persuade to max out contributions for both campaigns, sending $200,000 each. And finally, Santos is charged for defrauding donors through his political campaign organizations. More on those. So at this point, it was
There's
fairly
more?
established. Campaign finance regulators were a joke, especially with the help of an
This was
experienced
so fucking
campaign
stupid.
treasurer. For context, a campaign treasurer gives
Is
the
in
green
charge of
light on all
funds.
payments, keeps records of all receipts, and files all reports and statements. So they're quite important and very involved. And he'd got himself a veteran, a woman named Nancy Marks. And as it turns out, this campaign treasurer has a bit of a reputation.
For some reason, I thought it was the other Marks. I was going to say, this is very ironic, isn't it?
She'd done
that the Marks isn't good at controlling money.
this for multiple campaigns and other clients, and word on the street is, she likes to secretly bill herself thousands of dollars at random while doing it. She'd even been sued for this at one point. However, she won the suit.
Call an
Anyway,
ambulance, call
in
an
May
ambulance.
2021,
But not
Santos
for
goes
me.
into business with her to form a political consulting firm in Florida called Red Strategies. Here, Santos apparently uses his new friends in politics to shill Red Strategies' fundraising and advertising services to other Republican candidates running in New York, all the while secretly not disclosing his own involvement.
He's a businessman, man of business.
That involvement being running the company. Once signed up, they'd charge them massive fees for apparently very subpar efforts.
And it's gone.
And then profit. And turns out, a lot of that profit is going directly into Santos' pockets. Santos would go on to ditch Marks, apparently telling her the brain cancer was back, and that he'd have to go radio silent for a while. He then forms Redstone Strategies in 2022 with an old friend from Harbour City.
What?
And after its opened shop, Santos' donors start to receive calls. Redstone Strategies had just raised 800k for Santos' campaign, and are now asking for around 700k more. The guy on the other end tells them. Originally, these calls are from a representative of the company, but eventually, it's apparently just Santos himself. And that would be a bit illegal. Marks has since pleaded guilty to one felony
it's only
count
partially
of
illegal, it's fine.
conspiracy to defraud the United States, and to falsifying and inflating financial numbers with Santos'
Inflation?
help. She faces
Don't tell
3 to
Cynical.
4 years in prison. Santos then graduates to Devolder Company. Here, instead of trying to sell an alleged Ponzi scheme to well-off people like he was doing at Harbour City, he has a brilliant idea. Just introduce them to other well-off people, and take a fee for whatever
Jesus
changes
Christ.
hands. And what better time to do this, just as he was entering politics.
Oh, Horse and Uma Musume
He could be
died.
proposing these deals to a whole new class of wealth and power. Using this company, Santos is allegedly able to negotiate the sale of a massive yacht. It has an infinity pool, a waterfall, and is
Wait,
worth
are the
about-
Uma Musume horses based on real racing horses? Let me make sure this is true. Where's the tweet from the actual company, I guess?
around $19 million, meaning Santos potentially raked in hundreds
Is
of
it pinned?
thousands of dollars here. And this was just before the election in
Oh yeah, it is.
2022.
Or it's not pinned. It's with heavy hurts that we share. Hara Urara passed away on September 9th. Urara is the pink one, isn't it? The one who's like, never give up. Yeah. I don't know much about Uma Musume, but actually, from what I know, I fucking love her. Because she's like the... Even though I'm not the fastest, I'm still going to try, and that makes me happy. Or whatever the fuck. I think canonically, she was the worst horse, wasn't she?
He claims that this is his family firm and handles 80 million in assets. Anyway, Santos' family comes together to pay off his 500k bond for the charges, and on the condition he surrenders his passport,
Mr.
he's free to go.
Bean.
He and his lawyer go on to shoot down each and every single charge. It's a witch hunt, Santos says.
It's a witch hunt. It makes no sense.
He pleads not guilty and still refuses to resign. Following all of these charges, another vote to expel Santos kicks off. However, this fails to pass and is instead
love
handed
that clip.
over to the House Ethics
There are so
Committee
many
to
clips I love that I
investigate.
just forget
At
exist
this
that I need
point,
to download.
Republican congressmen are getting very agitated.
Why does he wait?
If I could
He looks like Tectone if Tectone was black.
understand you over my colleagues screaming here, the reality is
Here's the thing though, he's not going anywhere, because Republicans need him to maintain their razor-thin House majority, which they hold by just 4 seats.
Ooh, that's kind of
So they need to vote
So
for someone they
Santos is
hate.
safe for now. So in June, it's time to kick back. Santos attends a congressional baseball game where he's mobbed by fans.
You could literally win the presidential race right now.
It's now August, and an aide of Santos has just been charged with identity theft. He allegedly impersonated the current Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy's Chief of Staff, while fundraising. Nonetheless, the Speaker of the House's support for Santos remains strong. It's around this point that Santos also misses his financial filings deadline,
course he
which
does.
he'd already received a 90-day extension for. October 10th,
IRS. Knock knock, open up
and
bitch.
it's the feds again. They're back with 10 more charges. This time it's conspiracy, false statements, falsification of records, aggravated identity theft, credit card fraud, and then some more wire fraud. And with the second tranche of charges, another scheme of his comes to light. See,
Another
back when
scheme.
Santos was running, he'd had an idea. This one
Oh,
was
yeah?
simple. Note down the identity and financial information of his campaign donors, which
Why?
they'd already given when contributing. then repeatedly
Oh my
charged their
God.
credit cards without them knowing.
You
Profit.
scammy fuck.
These would go into his campaign, other campaigns, and again, directly into his own pocket. In another scheme, Santos and his campaign treasurer apparently filed reports with overinflated donations on them. This could then be used to acquire financial support from the Republican Party, which it was. More profit. Again, he pleads
How
not
did they
guilty
not
to
notice
every charge,
that
and the
money's
thought
leaving
of
their
resigning
account?
doesn't even cross his mind. This, along with the Speaker of the House and Santos ally Kevin McCarthy being given the boot on the 3rd of October, and Santos is now considerably less safe.
I'm in danger.
And it's getting to him. Santos starts to crack, become unstable.
It's unacceptable. They should not be allowed in here. He's an animal.
Oh, he's
Things are
crashing
not
out.
looking good. So Santos brainstorms. He needs to look good.
Fent.
Win back the court of public opinion.
Do Fent.
That's it. A baby. And Santos starts walking the halls of Congress with a random baby in his hands.
What?
Do not record this baby.
Whose was it? Where did it come from? No one knows.
I feel like that's even
But
more
when
concerning. He just has a baby now.
asked, he says this.
Hold on. This is... Wait. No. No. I was going to say he kind of looks like Bob from Bob's Burgers. But... He doesn't have the mustache. He kind of looks like a fusion between Bob and his son. Like, if his son had Bob's hair. Or, like, Peter Griffin if he lost the weight.
You said, not yet.
As in a reference to, I'm not a parent. I'm not there yet.
The 1st of November,
Yeah.
2023, and it's time for another vote to oust Santos. The House needs a supermajority vote of 2/3 to do it, so it could really go either way here. And Santos braces for the worst. However, the vote goes down, and turns out he'd survived. Easily, in fact. 179 yes to 239 no.
Oh, I can't do that math
Looks
in my
like
head
our
right now.
boy's
It's too late.
bulletproof. He'd made it.
He's aura farming.
He won.
Well, something tells me he
But
didn't.
wait, on the 16th...
Hold on, I'm going to piss, and I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. Put on my gamer head. Not even gamer headphones, they're fucking XM4s. Ooh, 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 ooh.
interviews. And now... But wait.
There you go.
On the 16th of November, the House Ethics Committee is back. They'd
Why
spent
are there just a bunch of Asian dudes? Is this a joke I don't get?
the last few months scouring through records and conducting interviews. And now their investigation was over, and their findings handed in. 170,000 pages of documents, witness testimonies, and financial statements. And
I thought it was
the
gonna say
verdict was in.
$170,000.
Something's a bit dodgy here. The revelations are numerous. He'd spent $11,000 on hotels, $42,000 on flights. This includes flights to random places like Kansas and Memphis.
Makes sense.
More than 10 trips to the high-end Manhasset shopping center.
okay.
$300 on an internet viral steakhouse. And countless expenditures at an Italian restaurant in Queens.
Bro, this food doesn't even look good. I mean, what is this, calzone? That looks edible. This just looks like slop. This is like my first time cooking pasta level shit.
More about that restaurant. See, Santos likes this place a lot. So much so that he'd spent tens of thousands of dollars here.
I mean, listen, I understand if it's a good high-end Italian place. I like Italian food more than any other food on the planet. I would murder for a good Italian spot. That tells me the macros.
He'd also claimed
I'd
to be friends
murder
with the
for that,
family
bro.
running it. The owner's brother even contributed to his campaign. It would also turn out that the same man was caught in 2019 steering a 63-foot yacht from the Bahamas towards Florida in an attempt to smuggle 14 undocumented Chinese migrants and a Bahamian man into the US. More than $200,000 worth of currency was also found, stuffed into the bedroom walls. All above board. Something of interest also to note, a ton of expenditures here were exactly $199.99.
Is it alcohol?
Here's the thing, if he'd spent just 2 pennies more, he would have had to keep some form of documentation, like a receipt. The restaurant is also apparently donating thousands of dollars to his campaign. So in essence, he's giving the restaurant money via undisclosed
an individual item worth $199. He means the whole bill is $199. Okay.
food he's buying through his campaign, and that same money is going back to the campaign. He'd end up using this $199
so
trip
infinite money
dozens
glitch.
of times. In fact, he ends up with more of these expenses than any other candidate in the entire United States, including at places that would be very difficult to even spend that amount, like a car park where it was impossible to spend this exact amount of money. Santos also used campaign funds on lip fillers, Botox, rent, holidays, makeup, weight loss drugs, casino trips, around $250,000 of cash withdrawals, even OnlyFans. Also, his designer clothes, compliments of the campaign too, of course. This includes the Ferragamo loafers at around $700,
What?
the Cartier tank watch at around $10,000.
Bro, my loafers are probably the same quality, and I bought mine for like $80. And even that was kind of that was on sale as well. No, mine aren't. What was it? Gucci. Mine are Ralph Lauren, but still.
Burberry quilted jacket around $1,400. Louis Vuitton ties around $200.
You're telling me brother spent fucking £200 on a tie?
And his Ray-Bans also around $200.
Okay.
To illustrate just how brazen these violations are, another US politician apparently had a go at his staff for ordering some fruit to their hotel door using campaign funds. Then there's Santos, who was practically living in an Hermes store. All in all, he'd apparently spent just around a third of his campaign budget on advertising. This is apparently far less than normal. Naturally, he denies a lot of this.
Is it true that you have an OnlyFans page and you can peel a banana with your feet?
I don't have one, and it's, you know, I'll indulge you this. I just discovered what OnlyFans was about 3 weeks ago when it was.
That's the same energy as what was it? Jason Momoa saying I don't even know what steroids are, or fucking Effextra Life saying we didn't even know that Twitch bots were a thing. It's like, oh, I bet.
Brought up in a discussion in my office.
What do you think?
And I was oblivious to the whole concept.
You were oblivious to the concept of paying for sex. Well, paying to view sex. Brother, this has been a thing since like the 1900s.
The filings themselves, also incredibly dodgy. They included multiple revisions, unaccounted contributions, unitemized payments totaling hundreds of thousands of dollars, and hundreds of those $199 payments to Anonymous, who was then removed in later filings. All of this compounded with 2 of his campaign staff now pleading guilty for various crimes. And yeah, not great. So Santos comes out with an announcement. Lads, probably not running in 2024. Sorry.
So who's running?
Then, on the 18th of November 2023, he looks like this.
Wow, he's a bit
Towards
tubby.
the end of the month, it's clear. Another expulsion vote was looming. And this time, it could be a lot closer. So on the 29th of November, Santos gives it his all in a House speech. While he makes his case, people fly this balloon outside the Capitol. On the 30th, Santos says he'll be holding a press conference outside the Capitol the next day. And this time, he actually does hold one.
Holy
Having
shit,
made
he's
his
doing his
case
job.
inside and outside the Capitol, all Santos could now do was pray.
I don't think
December
God
the
can save you
2nd,
with this one, brother.
2023, and Congress members are pulling up to the office for work. Today's agenda, Santos. Now, again, to get this man out, the House would have to vote yes to the tune of a 2/3 supermajority. So this could actually go either way, even with the recent revelations. But regardless, the votes start coming in, and eventually, the results are in. Santos is out.
Oh no!
He's booted out his office, loses his seat in the House, and banished from the Capitol.
So who's taking his place?
Becoming the 6th House Congressman in history to be expelled, and the first in over 2 decades.
That's crazy.
He makes a hasty escape. In a politically divided America, Democrats and Republicans managed to come together for one thing: their utter disdain of this man. But within a couple of days of expulsion, a new account appears on Cameo. It's
Imagine being such an asshole that you managed to get Republicans and Democrats to agree on something.
Santos, and he's now singing Taylor Swift and roasting people online for money.
I knew you were trouble when you walked in.
And he's popular. In fact, his $75 asking price is quickly kicked up to $400 apiece. It doesn't take long for him to start earning 6 figures, and eventually more money
Who's paying for this?
than his congressional salary. In February 2024, a special election is held to replace Santos. At the time, a massive blizzard hits Long Island, with areas getting up to 8 inches of snow.
That's great.
But regardless,
Well, it's not,
tens
but
of
anyway.
thousands show up to vote. And on the 13th of February, Tom Suozzi wins back his seat, and this short, bizarre chapter of US politics meets its end. Or does it? Yes, it does.
All right. Interesting. Let me check the comments. As a Brazilian, I confirm a lot of our politicians are shameless. I didn't know we were exporting them. Technically, his grandparents did survive the Holocaust. They just weren't there. Commits a crime in every place he goes to. Today, Santos reported to federal prison to serve a 7-year sentence for fraud. Could he not pay bail going, I knew you were trouble when you walked in? Okay. Interesting. Anyway, moral of the story. Don't trust male volleyball players whose parents survived the Holocaust that are also Catholic Jews, Jewish, to be specific. Yeah, I don't really know what to say. Okay, yeah, as I said, shorter stream today because there's a bunch of jank essentially that I'm gonna hopefully fix for tomorrow. Assuming the desk arrives tomorrow. I don't have much to do tomorrow anyway, outside of the stream, which we're gonna finish. Well, we're gonna start and finish Ban. What are we on? 6? I need to double check. I think we're on 6. It's on my stream schedule. I'll check it. I have to move everything forward by like 1 day. Well, I have to move the games forward by 1 day. I might do a bonus. Maybe. A bonus on Saturday or Sunday. To do Borderlands, but I'm not positive. I still haven't decided whether I want to give people like that weekend to play it before I play it, or do I want to just raw dog it and go straight in? Because I'm gonna make a video on it. So, but I also need to work in the Ban videos. So I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, thank you to anyone who stopped in, and I'll see you all tomorrow.